U.S. calls on China to prevent Iran from closing Strait of Hormuz and disrupting global oil flows. Now, Iran government poised to shut it down, closing off 20% of global oil and gas. And this is what Rubio had to say about this. Go for it, Rob.
No way we were leaving that for future generations.
Secretary, final question here. Do you expect Iran to move to close the Strait of Hormuz to try to disrupt oil transportation across the world?
Well, I encourage the Chinese government in Beijing to call them about that because they heavily depend on the Straits of Hormuz for their oil. If they do that, it'll be another terrible mistake. It's economic suicide for them if they do it. And we retain options to deal with that. But other countries should be looking at that as well. It would hurt other countries' economies a lot worse than ours. It would be, I think, a massive escalation that would merit a response, not just by us, but from others. So, look, they're going to say what they need to say. You know, these are the things that need to happen for their own internal politics and so forth. But in the end, we're going to judge them by the actions that they take moving forward. We had 3 objectives. We struck those 3 objectives with decisive force. And that was the point of this mission. And that's what we achieved. What happens next will depend on what they do. They want to negotiate. We're ready to negotiate. They want to get cute and do things that are dangerous. We have responses available that are devastating.
Secretary, was China complicit? We know that jets flew into Iran. We don't know what were on those jets.
No, we don't have any evidence that the Chinese were involved in it.
Tom, thoughts on this?
So as well, Iran's largest trading partner is China on an import-export basis. They go back and forth, and China has been trying to develop this relationship because China's got a lot of people and a lot of land, but not a lot of energy resources, and they need energy partners, which is why they turned to the north, to Russian for natural gas, and this is why they were with Iran trying to build this, and they have a very intricate economic relationship. And Rubio very astutely says, hey, it's not like we're calling China, hey, buddy, you're a big country in the world too. Could you call Iran and just let them know? No, it's like, hey, China, you know, you need their energy. You need stuff like this. When they close that port, the first country that gets impacted outside of Iran themselves, who stops getting stops getting money, stops part of their own economy, is you, dude. Yeah. So why don't you call them? And it says, you're calling me while you're negotiating with me and you're kicking me in the balls and you're trying to get us to do this deal on a trade deal. Hey, dude, what we talk with you is what we talk with you about. I'm saying it's in your best interest to call Iran and tell them not to close the straits here because you need the oil too. And so Rubio's very astutely pointing out that, you know, suddenly there's a question that has to be asked of China, which is, you know what, this hurts you. What are you going to do about it? Because this is a global problem. This is not a Middle East problem.
So you know what this does, though, Tom? What do you have here, Rob, with JD Vance?
This is also JD Vance speaking about the Strait of Hormuz closure and the effects.
Go for it.
Iran disrupts shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, which of course handles about a quarter of the world's oil trade. Would that be a red line for the United States, Mr. Vice President?
Well, Kristen, I think our biggest red line is the Iranian nuclear weapons program. That is really what the president has said we need to get rid of.
But what about the Strait of Hormuz?
Steps towards doing that last night. Well, I think that would be suicidal, Kristen, for the Iranians themselves. I mean, their entire economy runs through the Strait of Hormuz. If they want to destroy their own economy and cause disruptions in the world, I think that would be their decision. But why would they do that? I don't think it makes any sense. I don't think that it makes sense for them or for anybody else. What would make sense is for them to come to the negotiating table to actually give up their nuclear weapons program over the long term. And again, if they're willing to do that, they're going to find a willing partner in the United States of America.
Yeah. So, you know what this brings to a conversation of? Adam, were you going to say something about this?
Yeah. You know, when you talk about economic suicide doing this, does anybody believe Iran at all at this point? You know when Iran is lying, or when the Ayatollah is lying, or the IRG is lying? When their lips are moving. At what point are their words and their threats going to be taken seriously? Oh, tomorrow's the day. You wait and see. Everyone's going to get it. I swear, nothing comes from these people. All they do is talk. They can't even fight their own wars. Everything they do is a proxy. These people have been talking about death to America, death to Israel, death to the great Satan. They're crumbling. They have no credibility at this point. So now they're going to turn off their own economic lifeline to do what? It makes no sense to me. They're a backwards way of thinking, and none of their threats come to fruition. So, and you're also seeing China. Didn't China call Islam or Islam extremism a mental disorder? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the CCP not say that?
They shut down a bunch. They closed down a bunch of mosques too, didn't they, Adam? In China.
Number two, you're starting to see Russia turn its back on Iran. One of the main stories in the Wall Street Journal is how Putin has now turned a cold shoulder onto Iran. Quote unquote, Russia is not as good of a friend or ally as it pretends to be with Iran. Putin often turns his back on his autocratic friends when they need him. So with friends like these, who needs enemies? I don't see anybody coming to Iran's defense, including Qatar, who's number 2 on the list of state-sponsored terrorism or terrorism advocacy. Iran does nothing but make threats. Even when they bombed the military site in Qatar, they gave them a heads up only to save face. They're basically like, look, I know you kicked the living crap out of me, but I at least got to show some resolve and some strength. So move all your assets out of there, Qatar, while I bomb and give you a heads up while I'm doing it. Does anybody think the people that running the country of Iran have any credibility at this point? So my answer is no.
Rob, can you ChatGPT this real quick, what Adam just said? Did China call Islam a mental disorder? I want to make sure we address that because we've heard it on many different stories that we have read about. But I just want to fact check this here because that's a big statement. Zoom in a little bit if you could, Rob. Let's see what it says. I'm looking at I'm sorry.
The check in China related statements.
2019 sickness, I'm sure. What kind
and
of
also Google if they have
crazy.
re-education camps.
I've not seen a research like that is coming up. That's very weird what ChatGPT is doing. Maybe you just offended ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Rob, today you may want to be careful when you drive home to see because it's not happy with you.
But it's no secret what's going on with the Uyghurs in China.
Yeah,
that's not
course.
a secret.
However,
they're all in re-education camps, curing them from Islam. So,
okay, here we go. Yes, the Chinese government has in fact portrayed Islam, especially amongst Uyghurs in Xinjiang, not merely as a religion, but as a form of mental illness or ideological disease that requires treatment or cure. The Chinese really said that. According to Al Jazeera, Beijing has described Islam as a mental illness that needs to be cured with its re-education camp aimed at Uyghur Muslims. The Atlantic reports that Chinese authorities liken their camps to hospitals, treating religions, extremism as a psychological condition to be remedied. Detailed summary in New York Magazine Intelligencer explains that Islam was officially framed by Chinese officials as infectious ideological illness cleansed from their brain. Additional human rights. Wow. Pretty.
And just to add to that,
and this is the biggest backer of Iran. Correct me if I'm wrong. The CCP is the biggest funder of the IRGC and the Ayatollah.
And Adam, I just
circle that square for me. How when they call your entire religion doctrine a mental disorder, yet you're following their lead, make that make sense to me.
And Adam, I had to fact check myself because I said that China destroyed mosques. Yes, the Chinese government has destroyed or repurposed hundreds of mosques, especially in Xinjiang, where the majority of the Uyghur Muslim population lives. In 2019, The Guardian and Bellingcat revealed that over 30% of mosques in Xinjiang were damaged or destroyed. And they're saying why? It's because Chinese campaign of religious and cultural suppression particularly targeted Muslims under the guise of counterterrorism and anti-extremism. So that's what China's doing.
By the way, you know what this
China has no state religion. So
yeah, you know what this makes me think about. Here's what it makes me think about. I watch everyone's argument and I try to see how deep the argument can go because this is how arguments and ideas work. You first pitch an idea or you make an argument. And if you're very convincing, what does the other side do? Maybe they believe you because of how convincing you deliver your message.
Conviction.
Conviction is needed. So you're like, okay, you're a good salesperson. I got it. But then you watch somebody push you back on your idea. And then that person make an argument. I was like, oh, okay, let's see what you're going to say now. And then you make an argument. I'm like, oh, that was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, boom, your argument starts breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking. The argument of American only versus America first. kind of what we're talking about yesterday,
night.
right?
Yep.
America only versus America first. Do you know why that argument eventually loses, the America only? If you're America only, you can't get involved in Strait of Hormuz. You have to try to generate that on your own. Because now if there's a war there, you're like, no, we're America only, we're not going to get involved. You kind of have to, because your people are relying on you to make good decisions to get the oil that we need, whatever if you're America only, if you don't have, like for me, I think we have 800 military bases around the world. That's a lot that we have. Now, if you don't do it, the enemy will do it. If the enemy does it and the enemy gets more influence, then when it comes down to having leverage and time to do the things you want to do, then all of a sudden what happens? You don't have any control. If you're America only, the people that say America only, there's an element of them that they're solopreneurs, Tom. You know what I mean by solopreneur?
Totally.
You talk to a solopreneur, like in PHP, I had insurance agents that were just producers. And they couldn't stand building an agency. You know why? Because what does building an agency require you to be able to do?
Focus, work, determination, follow the playbook, stay with the program.
What is the most annoying thing about building an agency?
Having to lose people and recruit people at the same time.
Simplify, Tom. What is the most annoying thing about getting married and having kids? What's the most annoying thing about building a company? What is the most annoying thing about building a team? What is the most annoying thing about playing football where you're dealing with 52 players versus being a tennis player? You're dealing with
people and relationships. That's not turnkey.
Number one, human beings are annoying.
Rob.
By the way, all of us are annoying to some. I guarantee you, I'm annoying to a lot of people. I guarantee you, Vinny, as funny as you are,
I'm annoying as shit.
I guarantee you're annoying. The only person on this set that is not annoying to anybody, it's Adam. Adam doesn't annoy anybody. He's the only guy
He's the most non-annoying person I've met.
So, but you know what it is?
Guys, it's hard being perfect, PBD. I get it.
Yeah.
Listen, none of us, most of us don't walk on water.
But you're getting
like
used to it.
Yeah. But you know, the whole thing about America only versus America first, a solopreneur is sick and tired of managing employees because it's hard. It sucks. A solopreneur that they try to run a business like, Bill Maher, $15 million raised to, so we're going to build a podcast agency. Then they do it. Oh, I hate this shit. Why? Drama. My producer doesn't work. Where are the notes? How come you don't have this? Why don't they do it better? They do this and they do that. Shut the whole thing down. This thing sucks. I don't want to work with anybody. No shit. It's hard. So that's why it's like podcaster only, solopreneur. I'm just going to do myself. It's not possible for you to have a America only mindset. Like, you know what's the best story about the America only argument? Check this out. One of the most important business meetings in the last 100 years in America. This is probably got to be in the top 10 meetings in the last 100 years. And Tom, let me see if you're going to see where I'm going with this. You ready? Who are two of the most influential founders in the history of business the last 50 years?
Gates and Jobs. Be on my list.
Gates and Jobs. Do you know who was more competitive between the two? Some will say Jobs. Gates was pretty competitive. But do you know what ends up happening? One day, Apple is about to go out of business. And Steve Jobs holds a meeting. And if you've never seen this, it's so powerful. Rob, if you can find it, it's awesome to watch. Jobs gets up on stage. Who is Apple only?
Of course.
He hates Microsoft passionately.
Yeah.
He gets up on stage and he says, for the longest time at Apple, we thought in order for Apple to win, Microsoft must lose. And he says, but the reality of it is, that's not the right way of thinking. When Apple's about to go out of business, guess who gives Apple money?
Microsoft.
How much money do they give them? I think it's like $300 million, give or take.
Real money.
Real money. Microsoft gives Steve Jobs $300 million.
Just to have a competitor?
Apple is about to shut it down. They were going through a terrible season. The computers weren't selling. They're going through a very rough time. So, an Apple-only company, mindset, decides to team up with the enemy.
Yeah.
They raise the money. You know what Microsoft worth today? You know what Apple is worth today? I think both
Apple's
of them are worth.
the biggest, though, right?
I think both Apple and Microsoft are worth $3 trillion today. People that worked at Apple made millions of dollars. Some made billions of dollars. Tim Cook is officially a billionaire. A lot of people that worked at Microsoft, many made millions, many made billions. Ballmer now is as rich as what do you call it? Gates is. The mindset of America only is limited. It's just hard to do when your country is this big. It's very hard to do. Yeah, look at this market cap is which one, Rob?
This is Microsoft.
$3.63 trillion. And what was Apple?
Damn.
$3 trillion. $3 trillion. The idea of being able to work together, they brought $6.5 trillion of money to American people around the world. That's why American only is limited on the argument. It hits a wall eventually. If that concept doesn't work in marriage, if that concept, we're going to do it ourselves, we don't need anybody's help. Dude, then you're not going to have date nights. You need a babysitter. No, we don't need nobody's help. You do. No, we're going to do this company by ourselves. You need to hire people.
Yeah.
You can't do it all by yourself. So every time you see like Strait of Hormuz, all this, we need to negotiate that. It shows. Do you think America needs Iran to be working with them on Strait of Hormuz to not shut it down and destroy?
Of course.
Who else needs them? China. Who else needs them?
Russia. Everybody.
That instance right there tells you America only is out. Mm-hmm. It's America first that works, not America only. My opinion. Okay, let's go to the next story here. New York today.
Can I say why I agree with you just real quick?
Go ahead, Adam.
Because, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. No, not necessarily. And by the way, what happens in the Middle East does not stay in the Middle East. We're now in a global economic contingency where everything is integrated. So oil, for everyone who thinks that the oil is going to be basically dead, yeah, tell that to Saudi Aramco that I think has a $2 trillion market cap. Only company in the world in the top 10 that's not United States. Global shipping, trade, supply chain, oil. Everything is going to affect the American markets, everything. So for the people that want to live like an ostrich and pretend, no, let's not get involved. Let's not get involved. Be the libertarians of America. Where's Dave Smith's argument at this point? It's very limited in scope because anybody that's a true actor realizes America has to lead. Because if we get out of the Middle East, if we get out of Taiwan, who's going to fill that vacuum? I'll ask you. Russia's going to step in, China's going to step in, and all these bad actors are going to fill that vacuum. I'd rather have American hegemony over the rest of the world than China or Russia or Iran any day. So fully agree with you on the America first versus America only, PBD.
Yeah, it's limited. It's a noble argument. Trust me, it's a very noble argument. Everybody that's saying it, I understand they're coming from a very, very noble place. Let me take care of my family, my job. Michael Jackson's song is what? If you want to make the world better, what does it say?
Take a look at yourself and make the change.
Make the change, right? So I get it. I understand that. Yeah, right there. Yeah. But at the same time, unfortunately, if you want to make a change, pass
the propofol.
Yeah, we're going to go.
When a plane is falling, you don't put on the air mask first and only. You put it on first and then.
Oh, thank you so much, Adam, for your help with that because I love it. This is why we need Adam in our lives to give us input like that. You're amazing, Adam.
Some of us don't fly private, PBD, so we got to remember those instructions.
Listen, with all the APAC money you're getting from Israel, we all know how you travel. You travel.
Yeah.
We do great help, buddy.
APAC. Right now, I've received 0 checks. Maybe you're sending it to the office. But I'll take the money all day, every day. I just haven't received any.
According to some people, Adam's got some real money we don't know about.
Yeah, I wish I did, guys. I admit it on camera.
Yeah. When it comes down to merch, especially with all the timing that we have going on. Look, if you ever wonder why we don't do sponsorships, because our own companies are putting us in a position with the customers. I say this to you all the time. If you believe in a brand, go support it. If you love CNN, buy their stuff. If you love Fox, buy their stuff. If you love any other small media company, support them because that's how they stay in business. So here's what ends up happening. You either take money from sponsorship, then your loyalty has to be to sponsors, or you take money from customers who are buying stuff from you, the loyalty then becomes to them to stay honest to them. That is what our goal is long term. Eventually, we will bring some partnerships in based on criteria that we're creating with them. But till then, we're loving what's happening right now with the podcast, the media company, everything that we're doing. So today, we have some limited merch that just came in today. And talk about the timing of it. We've been waiting for these for 4 months. We have these new USA flags that literally just came in. We have the black one that came in here, USA hat. On the back, it says Future Looks Bright. We have the other USA one with the stars that are on it with Future Looks Bright on the side, and on the back it says Valuetainment. This one is sick for 4th of July. This is the kind of hat you would want to sport on 4th of July. I like the black one, and I like this one here. This one's not going to last a long time. This is black and gold. USA is gold right here.
Limited?
Look at this. USA is gold right there, and it's numbered.
Oh, it's okay.
This is limited edition out of 250 with the American flag on the side, Valuetainment logo on the side, and on the back it says Future Looks Bright. It's out of 250. You know what happens with these numbered ones? They don't last a long time. I think the last one lasted 2 hours and 45 minutes. They go in no time. If you like the limited supply stuff that we have, some people buy them and put it on eBay and they flip them. We can't stop them from doing that. So if you don't buy it, you can only get these on eBay. But those of you that love our limited supply material that we have, go buy this. They have a shirt that goes with it as well, Rob. If you can go on the shirt one that we have right there, the gold shirt. Can you click on it real quick so we can zoom in? Look at that. USA Golden. And on the back, it says Future Looks Bright. And then go to the hat as well so we can see some of the pictures of the hat, Rob. These are all numbered. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And Rob.
Yeah, look at that stitching. It glitter and everything. Oh, this is awesome.
Anyways, go to vtmerch.com to place your order. Is that a new shirt as well for 4th of July?
This is a new shirt that's
I don't know if we have that on the website or not, but I'm sure when we do, we'll market that as well. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.